So, like, before we begin, in your DMs, you say "ope" a lot. Are you from the Midwest originally?
No.
Oh, because I know it's a big thing over there. That's what I've been told. So I had no idea.
Ope. OOPE.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
"ope," you know.
no, I'm just weird. I mean like when I was a kid, people thought I was from like New York or like Canada because of like the way I spoke. And I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, what does a person from New York sound like? I don't know.
I guess I had no idea. So I guess you're always been West Coast, I guess, or something. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm from shithole Texas. I don't know what your opinions are on it, but I don't like it very much. Yeah.
I have some family members there.
Oh, really? Are they from
hmm
the cool parts or are they from the shithole parts? Because there are a few pockets that are okay if you know where to go.
I feel like they're like somewhere in Houston.
That's hit or miss. Okay. If it's
Yeah,
bad, they can drive 20 miles and be somewhere cool. So,
right.
welcome into the newest episode of Being Influenced. Today, I have Lulu. Like, she is a Twitch streamer, a horror creator, and she just recently passed 5K on YouTube. Congratulations on that. And how's your morning going?
Well, it's probably the rainiest day in San Diego of the year, so it's beautiful.
Re- Really?
hmm
Oh, okay. I didn't know San Diego even had rain. I just thought it was picturesque postcards.
Usually.
And some people listening may have to Google what a postcard is. But aside from all that, I want to thank you so much for coming in. And one thing I like to do before we start, I like to knock out a couple of icebreakers just so we can get to know you a little bit. Everyone has to eat something. If you had to eat one thing for every meal for the rest of your life, or like one meal, what would you do?
Bread,
Just bread.
bread,
Is there a particular favorite?
sourdough.
Ooh. I've never had like, I mean, I've had sourdough, but it's been like the prepackaged stuff. Like, do they have like the fresh stuff where you are?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay.
go to a store, like even like local grocery stores, they'll have like fresh baked sourdough,
That sounds so good.
but only the inside, not the outside.
Oh, you're a peeler. Oh, okay.
hmm
I know some people like the really crusty stuff, and I'm like, no, I want to chew on a pillow with yeast in it.
Same.
And okay,
Yep.
so just like not even make a sandwich out of it.
No.
I've recently heard about some people are now making sourdough pizza crust at home and making pizza with it.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
It does sound
That
delicious.
that sounds so that sounds so good.
It really does.
I would eat it.
All right, now since you're a gamer, tell me about the first time you recall ever playing a video game.
Um, Gosh, I mean, I would have been really, really young because my dad was into computers, and so my older brother was into computers, and so I grew up, seeing my brother play games as young as like 1 year old. My 3 year old brother is like sitting at the computer, and I'm there like watching. But probably one of like the earliest games that had a big impact on me was on the N64. So like the Zelda series, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And
I love that system.
oh yeah. I I ended up buying one again because I kept mine my whole life and all the games with it. And then my dad was like, I'm gonna take these to Russia. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he took them to Russia and then he left them there. And it was a little bit heartbreaking. It was like, and we had like probably like 50 Nintendo 64 games. Um,
I was not expecting that ending. I'm going to go to Russia. Oh, yeah, then again, you couldn't buy that in Russia because I think it was banned there, wasn't it? Like video games.
maybe, I don't know. It might be why he took it with him, but yeah, it was very sad. And then I rebought an N64 and I bought a few games. So I got like the Zelda games, I got the collector's edition Majora's Mask, and did I get Mario 64? I think Mario 64 and Smash. Those were the earliest games that had a huge impact on me.
So if this is too personal, like tell me, but like, is your dad Russian? Like, is that why he went to Russia to see family or something? Or
No, he was a chemical engineer, so he was working up there.
oh wow, oh, okay. Because I do remember you recently mentioned in this little get to know me tweet that you were Chaldean Iraqi. If I said that all wrong, I'm sure. Feel free to correct me. So, like, what exactly does that mean? I mean, I know what Iraqi is, obviously, but like Chald. Say the word for me, please.
It, it's Chaldean.
Chaldean. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, what does that mean? If you don't
Um,
mind me asking.
Chaldeans are essentially like a line of like almost like a Catholic Iraqi. There's not many of them left, and so my family is all Chaldean, and so they're it's the culture and everything is very similar to most Middle Eastern cultures, but they believe in the Catholic God or Christian God rather. And they speak like the churches will speak in like Aramaic, which is like the language of Jesus. I myself am atheist. I don't believe in anything, so I'm really uh uncommon in my culture. Um, but yeah, my family is Chaldean, which is pretty much gone from like Iraq because when the war happened, everyone kind of had to flee, especially with like terrorists coming in and all that. So yeah,
Okay, so when you say the war, are you talking about the Persian Gulf or talking about '03? Like which
oh three.
what? Oh, so your family fled in '03.
No, my
Oh,
family, most of my family was here in the US, but we had we still had like properties there and stuff, like homes, and we had relatives there that were living in our homes and things like that. And when that happened, pretty much everyone left the country.
I can
It's
imagine.
pretty sad, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I had no idea. So, like, when did your family specifically come over?
Um, my mom actually, funny that you mentioned the Gulf War. My mom came here in 85 to visit her brothers. She still lived in Iraq at the time. And while she was here on vacation, the war started, the Persian Gulf War. And she automatically became a refugee because of the war. So she
Oh,
couldn't
wow.
go back to Iraq for 2 years because you had to become a naturalized citizen and then you could go back. And by the time she went back to Iraq, the war was pretty devastating. And her father told her to just stay in the US. So she stayed here.
Wow. That's
And
horrible.
yeah, my father came here, I think, like in his early 20s. And yeah,
Oh,
so
so they didn't come
yeah,
together. Like they
no.
individually came over and then,
Hmm.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it like a Chaldean function, I guess? Like, it's just kind of crazy how like they both lived over there, both came over here separately and then met. That's
Yeah. San Diego has one of the largest communities of Chaldean people. And they definitely marry within their not only within the Chaldean culture, but even within the village that you come from, the village. Um,
oh wow.
it's very strange, I think, to like, westernized people to
Well, I'm
think
from
about that.
Texas, so culture isn't really a thing we're taught. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
yeah, wow, that is fascinating. I had no idea. I didn't know that about you. I mean, I literally just learned. I didn't even know how to say the word, so of course I didn't know it about you. But so one other thing about you, you do have a special interest because like one of the first things you ever tweeted at me, it was related to your special interest in teeth. You even have a
Oh.
tooth headband on for those
Mhm.
listening to the audio version. Like, did that strictly come from your job, or did the interest lead to the job?
No, I've always liked like bones and stuff. It was funny. I actually went into hygiene like kind of by luck. My parents were pushing my brother to be a dentist, and I was like, he's kind of like the genius IQ, and I was like the average, like I did okay, thumbs up.
There you
Um,
go.
and he didn't want to be a dentist, and I was like, oh, maybe I could go into the dental field. And so when I was in high school, I worked as like an assistant in an office, and I was like, yeah, this seems like a cool career choice. And so I went through college, and then I went to dental hygiene school and became a dental hygienist. And I went into the field, and I was like, oh man, this sucks. um, And but yeah, I've always liked teeth. I think teeth are really cool. I don't I don't know why. It's like a weird, like you can't explain your love.
Okay, I guess it is indescribable. And also, speaking of things that bite, another fascination of yours is carnivorous plants.
Oh yeah.
Tell
Oh
me some
yeah.
fun facts that I don't know because I know about the Venus flytrap, but like that's about it. I know there's like really big ones, although I don't know if it's the same species. But I guess you do know.
I would know that. Yeah. Venus flytraps are actually a monospecies plant. So there's only one species in the genus, which is amazing because most plants, there's like hundreds of species within one genus. Well, not most, but a lot of plants. And so if you see like different versions of flytraps, they're called cultivars. So someone grows a plant from seed, is like, I really like this plant. So they clone it, and a cultivar is a clone of the original version. So it's never grown by seed, it's always grown by like either cuttings or pullings or tissue culture or something like that.
Wow. So,
Mhm.
like, where did this start? Like, did you take a horticulture class in college, or did Google take you in a weird place when you were a kid? Like, where did this begin?
It actually started in high school because I was in this biology class where you had to work in a garden, and I for some reason I developed a very strong phobia to insects and arachnids as a at a young age. It wasn't my whole life. It was just something clicked in me one day that I was terrified of them. And in this garden that we had to work in, it was just crawling with bugs. And I went to my professor and I was like, hey, I can't do this. And she was like, well, you can work in the fountain, and I'm going to give you a special role to research bog plants. And I was like, what the F is a bog? And so I start just, Googling like bog plants. And one of the first plants I ran into was called Darlingtonia californica, which is otherwise known as a cobra lily. And it's a really fascinating plant because it looks like a snake and it's carnivorous. So it's really, it's like this double whammy of like a really metal plant. And I was like, whoa, carnivorous plants. Like, the first thing that comes to your mind is the Venus flytrap. And I just delved into this world of carnivorous plants and became obsessed, heavily obsessed.
That is so cool. And it does make sense because I hate rodents, but I'm sort of okay with snakes. And I'm like, well, they're my friend because they eat the stuff I hate. You know what I mean? Oh,
Wait, they
also, a quick
eat
side note, you're
what?
allowed to swear if you want to.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I try not to anyways, but
Oh, like just in general or just like on the YouTube side? Because they have relaxed
no,
their F word policy.
in general, I try not to, but sometimes when I get scared, you'll hear bitch tits or something comes out, and I'm like, man,
I can just
yeah,
imagine you getting a jump scare and be like, oh, bitch tits, or just,
mm-hmm,
but okay. Wait, is that
yeah,
something you actually say?
mm-hmm, yeah,
Oh, oh, I was
yeah.
just being a smartass. I didn't realize that was an actual.
Nope,
Yeah,
nope, that's my scared word.
that's the thing. Cause like, I like to watch your streams, but at the same time, our backlogs kind of, or like some,
No, it's
yeah.
hard. Like I know for me, like I have tons of streamer friends that I wish I had time to watch, and like I just don't, unfortunately. And I never hold it against anyone who is busy with life.
Yeah. Also, I discovered you in a very unique way. I think of the people that I mutual with, I think you're the only one I discovered because I had to cheat on a video game and I went to your VOD to find it. It
Uh,
was it was the first game. It was UV goggles in the Forgotten Tapes Analog Nightmares.
oh yeah.
I didn't realize that they had enabled sprint because I'm always the guy. I hit the shift key immediately because I'm like, can I sprint? Is it limited? All that stuff. And I didn't know it was enabled, and it was brand new, so there was nothing on YouTube. And I just went to Twitch and typed it in. And you came up first. I was like, oh, this person seems cool. I did shout you
Oh,
out in the video, and the B roll that you will see at this moment for those watching will be proof of that. Yeah.
perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was like, oh, I like the vibe here.
No. Well, I appreciate that because I've always loved horror games, and I've never wanted to. Okay, where do I start here? I'm not trying to poop on anyone. Um,
Oh, name names. It'll be good for clicks. No, I'm playing.
no,
You know, you can you can just say someone, a person.
no. Like, okay. I followed horror content creators for a long time on YouTube and for example, like Markiplier, who I think is a wonderful, amazing person. Um, I remember one of the first times his video came up by accident for me, and I was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And it was like late at night, and I'm like falling asleep, and he starts like screaming, and I'm like, "Why are you screaming?" and I realized then and there that I appreciate my horror content creators who don't scream. And nothing against people who scream. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're scared. But I always wanted to be like I never wanted to overreact to scares. Like I've always wanted to have like a chill and genuine vibe.
You are
Is
very
there
even keel for concerning the stuff you play. I will say that.
yeah. If I get scared, it's like I actually the game got me and props the game.
So since we're talking about like content creation and all that, like what was your introduction to creating content? I'm guessing you started on Twitch, right? I know you're on YouTube as well, but so like how what was the origin of that? Was it COVID boredom? Because I think you said you started in 2020.
Oh, okay. This is something I don't think I've ever talked about on my stream or like
Got that
anywhere.
exclusive. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
really exclusive. Um, I actually the first time I streamed on Twitch, I think was in 2016. And it was a really like Papega setup with like, I was in my living room.
A
Um,
Pega?
Papega,
Is that?
like scuffed, bad, I don't know,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Um
I have my
and
Pega phase. Some would say I still do, but go ahead.
yeah, same, honestly. Uh and the first time I streamed on Twitch was then, and I was streaming a lot of Dead by Daylight. And it was my username. I don't even know if I should say what it was. I could not for the life of me come up with a username.
Oh, that's
And
the
so
hardest.
it is. And so I made it. I'm gonna like cringe saying this. And I cringed making it, but I was like, it's fine. It was carnivorous cutie.
That's amazing. That's
I can't
awesome.
I can't deal with the word cutie. Like I hardly ever say cutie. I don't know. The referring to myself as cutie just makes me want to like vomit. So
I
and well,
mean,
like
it's a fun name.
right.
Nowadays they would probably think you're one of those people that eats nothing but ribeye steak and bacon. So that may,
Yeah.
you know,
We've been a little yeah, I'm not a big
but
meat person.
2016, you know,
Yeah. And so I actually started then, but because of like life and everything, I was like finishing dental hygiene school. It was just too busy and I didn't get back to it for a long time, but I did watch people on Twitch for a long time. And I don't remember how I even found Twitch, but I can name some of like the earliest people I watched on Twitch, and one of them was Will Shand, like almost a decade ago. I don't know if you know who he is.
he
Um,
doesn't ring a bell. I honestly didn't get much into Let's Play culture until like 2000. It was when Jacksepticeye played part one of Metal Gear Solid. That was the first Let's Play video I actually watched. So I'm a recent convert. I watched a lot of
okay,
video game
okay.
stuff. I just wasn't into Let's Plays.
Got
Uh,
it, got it.
yeah, like I was into like outside of like basic reviews. I was into like Angry Video Game Nerd and Classic Game Room. You know, for us
hmm
senior citizens out there. I don't know how old you are, but every time I say that name, and everyone's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, just pretend you know what I'm talking about, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I originally watched Twitch to because I was like obsessed with Silent Hill, and I was like, I just want to listen to Silent Hill and fall asleep. So I was watching uh, originally a
That's your
lot of people
lullaby.
who, yes,
Well, fair enough.
yep,
The
yep.
song is very soothing in the very beginning, as long as you don't pay attention to like the stuff playing out in front of it. But you know,
I I watched any Silent Hill game, even the bad ones, and I don't know. An Eternal Enigma did a lot of Silent Hill and like Nub Zombie back then, and yeah, those were the people I watched a lot of just to like I just watched Silent Hill games over and over again.
I don't remember when I first heard of Twitch. I think I heard about it right before Amazon bought it, but I did hear about Justin TV, which I recently learned like 6 months ago that it was the same thing.
Hmm.
Because like all my friends are like, "Oh, you want to watch UFC fights?" And I'm like, "I don't have $50." I'm like, "No, just go to Justin TV. People play it for you." Then they got sued into oblivion and changed their name.
Hmm.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
surprised the website didn't die because they got raked over the coals. I do remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Outside of like, I mean, until past few years, I was never into Let's Plays. I was like, why would I want to watch someone play a game? And then I actually watched it, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of neat. And then I did it on my own
I
a little over a year ago.
I like Let's Plays, and I get it. Like a lot of content creators have actually been like, I've never been drawn to Let's Plays or whatever, and I'm like, I love Let's Plays. Like that's I'd rather watch that than TV.
I like the thing was I watched like the ones I saw were ones that were I love Jacksepticeye, but I'm not into his early stuff just because it's
Mm,
like it's just too much energy for me. Now that he's like mellowed out, which I mean for his standards he's mellowed out. I'm more into it now. And also,
mhm.
I don't know, it's kind of fun to like experience a game like through someone else's eyes. It's hard to explain, but it is fun now. I just didn't get it before. I was just being an old fart. So one thing we all deal with after a while is that we all have our own fair share of trolls and things like that. How do you react? Are you a blocker? Or do you ignore, or do you like to antagonize?
Um, well, I don't know if you've ever heard my follow alert, but
I have.
it's
It's hilarious.
yeah. It's thank you for the follow, but I just banned you. And I try to give a little bit of grace with people if I'm not sure if they're trolling. Sometimes on the rare occasion I will troll back, but if it's anything that's like disrespectful or like anything, TOS, it's just an instant ban and I ignore. Um, but I have well, Twitch it's difficult to manage people online, right? Because everyone's sitting behind a screen and all the streamer sees is a username. And I think a lot of people on Twitch are, on the spectrum or have like social anxiety and things like that. And it can be hard to know that this person struggles in society to socialize. And I have been guilty of banning someone who was on the spectrum. Not I didn't realize it, and I felt horrible when I found out because I think it's fair to give people like that some grace.
Yeah,
And
because I
and
have family members that are on the spectrum too.
yeah, and like it's easy as a streamer to like see someone say something in chat and be like, oh, that person's a jerk, banned, like or they say one or two things and um normally if it's not just straight up offensive, I will give a little bit of grace, and I'm pretty good at correcting someone if I feel like they're tiptoeing that line where I'll be like, hey, you can't say something like that. And if you do again, it's not going to be cool. um but yeah, I don't like to engage too much as a female because I think guys get a little bit offended if you do. I don't
There's a
know if
lot of
we're
weak egos out there. That's true.
yeah, I'm trying not to get into like weird territory, but it's a little bit weird as a female. Like I've seen how people will react to like male streamers who will kind of clap back at trolls. And I feel like as a female, sometimes if you clap back at the wrong person, they take it very personally and they like come after you. I'm like, I don't want any
That is true.
drama.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to chill and play video games. So
Because that's the thing. Like, I see now I feel kind of bad because I'll throw the hammer at anyone who even slightly annoys me. Honestly, except for one guy that likes to make a bunch of alt accounts that I just ban, 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 ban. I
oh
really
yeah.
don't get any sort of blowback in that way. But I've seen it where someone okay, I'm not saying that this has happened to you because, like, frankly, I don't know. I presume it has. Like, basically, a guy, I've seen situations where a guy will say something very dirty and inappropriate. He'll get banned. And he's like, oh, I was just being complimentary. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you're weird. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's, to me, it's just indefensible. Like, I will throw a hammer at anybody. I don't give a shit.
Mm,
But now that you've brought up the possibility of the spectrum, maybe I need to review the way I handle things. But honestly, it's not too bad unless I'm playing a game that has a lot of young viewers and
mm.
they get very backseaty and insistent.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had someone spoil The Walking Dead for me. They were in my chat trying to spoil the game and I ended up banning them. And they messaged me on Twitter and like I opened the message and they were like, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I know how the Telltale Walking Dead game ends now.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And it's crazy, like to go to that extent after like backseating really hard and being politely asked to stop, I don't know what goes through people's minds to feel the need to do that or like be like that. But yeah.
My thing is, if I'm stuck for more than 2 minutes, I want someone to tell me what to do. But
Oh,
like,
yeah,
if I
sure.
walk into a room and I get like an IGN walkthrough in my comments, I'm like, I'm not reading this shit. I'd rather just be lost. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, one time I had a verbal warning, not verbal, like they typed out a warning on a jump scare coming.
Mhm.
And like, you know how YouTube
You,
shorts work. Like, I'm like, I just lost like 5 subs of what I've gotten off that short because now I know what's going
yeah.
to happen.
Now there's this, yeah, like why? If I wanted to know a jump scare was coming, sure, let me know.
All right, so I just learned I might need to be a little more understanding on my band. See, it's a learning experience for everybody. Although I did
Yes.
get the exclusive. So like the carnivorous cutie neck tattoo, like when is that coming? Like how many followers for that one?
Never,
None. So even
never.
if you pull like Germa or Amaranth numbers, like even then it's like I'm not getting that tattoo.
Carnivorous cutie?
Yeah.
It would
Put it
have
in
to
another
be
language and it'll look like something really deep. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is very personal to me. It means peace and love and understanding. Like they won't know.
okay. If that were, I mean, so I have always been a very all or nothing person. And if I could not get a tattoo. It would have to be like a full body coverage tattoo.
The
Like
font size on
from
Carnivorous Cutie is going to be really big. That's like 500 point font. So like
I,
the shoulder blade to shoulder blade bow in the back or whatever, you know?
no, no, I'm talking like neck to feet.
Oh, so you don't have tattoos.
I don't have any
Why
tattoos.
did I just assume you did? I don't
Be-
know.
I think a lot of people think that I look like someone who has tattoos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I once was told that if I had a ball cap and Oakley's on, I would look like the dads on Facebook that are mad about participation trophies that ruined my entire day.
I can actually see that.
Yeah.
I hate to say that to you.
Being from the shithole part of Texas, I've had people that look like me walk up and say some of the most horrifying shit just because they assumed I would agree with them. I'm like, stop, dude. I want to call the FBI. That's a whole.
Yeah, I
But
can see it. Yeah. Mhm.
but the alt aesthetic would not work for me. I don't believe, if that makes sense.
I think it could.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I
it
got that
could.
muffin top though. I would feel weird wearing like
Hey, we love muffin tops here. It's
okay.
okay.
Well, if I'm
It's
ever in San
okay.
Diego, I'll give it a try. But I'll get like I'm not even saying this to be funny. I'll probably get my ass kicked if I walk out of the house wearing that. It's all.
Do you have like gauges or anything? You just gotta get some like gauges and
I wanted to get that back in like 2000. They first really hit in like 2012, I think, like locally to me anyway.
hmm
But then they were like, if you ever change your mind, it won't go back unless you get surgery. And I'm like, I can't even afford like medical procedures I need.
Right.
So because
True.
I got a list of like shit I need to get done, but I'm like, it's just gonna have to wait. It's like, when
I
your
feel that.
vehicle engine goes out before payday or something, be like, it's just gonna be bad.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I still drive my first car from high school, so I mean I get it.
wow, wait, if you don't mind me asking, can I ask how old you are?
How old I am?
Yeah.
I am a few weeks away from being 29.
I thought you were. Well, I mean, I figured 20s. I figured like mid, but like still like so you got in high school, so 12, 13 years for that car?
It and the car was old when I got it.
Wow.
It's a Camry, so they just don't die.
So like are you like a shade tree mechanic or is it just a good car?
It's just a good car. I mean, I change the oil every 3,000 miles and I balance the tires and put air in them, and otherwise I don't do anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So vehicle maintenance, carnivorous plants, teeth enthusiast,
Hmm.
a secret Twitch career that I didn't know about. I'm getting all the exclusives today.
What, the carnivorous cutie?
I mean, that is a cool name. I
Oh
mean,
God.
but again, they'll be like, "Oh, this lady eats nothing but bacon and steak." You know, that's those people nowadays. I mean, hey, if you're a carnivore, it's fine. But like, I
No,
mean,
I don't even eat pork because I really like pigs, so I don't eat pork.
that's true. So like you mentioned before, you're not much of a meat eater. Are you like a vegan or pescatarian,
I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm the
sourdoughitarian?
sour. Hey, I wish if I could live off sourdough, I would, you know? And I mean, I do kind of do make bad choices like that sometimes where I'm like, I'm just gonna eat pretzels for like 3 meals, you know? But I would say I'm a reductionist, so I will eat meat if it's like the only option. But if there is any other option of like a substitute, I will opt for that.
I like TVP and stuff like that.
TVP.
Oh, texture vegetable protein. It's kind of
Oh,
like the soy
sure.
version of ground beef.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
soy or tofu or yeah. Anything, any like substitute meat, I'll opt for. Yeah.
I will say tofu is underrated.
Hmm.
Like, well, okay, first of all, the people that say that it doesn't have a flavor, that is a lie. I do taste it, but at the same time, if you know what you're doing, it is really good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like curry and tofu. It like the curry soaks into the tofu really well. So yeah.
I have never had curry, and I hear it's
Oh,
so good. All right, now do you
really?
go for Thai curry or Indian curry?
Um, I would say neither. It's more of like it's an Arabic curry that's like really spicy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like Thai curries are not always, but I feel like a lot of Thai curries are sweet. Some Indian curries are sweet, but not all of them. I would say it's close to a masala, but like spicier is like the type I like.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Because I've thought about trying it, but every time I'm in a restaurant that has curry, they either have some really good rasta, goddamn, pasta or noodle dishes,
Mhm.
and that's what I typically go for. Like in the
Yeah,
absence of bread, give me noodles. That's what I say.
right. I like my carbs too. I can't disagree there.
Yeah, that does sound. See, now I'm hungry. See, I always get off in the food discussion because, like, if I'm stuck, just bring up food because everybody eats something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
I
also, oh, go
oh
ahead.
I was gonna say I actually didn't eat a lot of things for most of my life until I got older. I ate the same meal every single day.
What was it?
Well, okay,
Was it sourdough bread?
it was it included bread. Um, well, from kindergarten to I think it was like fourth grade, I only ate salsa and chips every day. And then
That
from
sounds so
fifth
good.
yeah, from fifth grade till like college, I ate a bagel and cream cheese every day. And
Well,
I
that's why they
still
think you're Northeastern. You're over eating bagels and cream cheese, and they're like, "Oh, she must be from like the Bronx or something."
I was made fun of the way I would say dog or sorry because Californians say sorry with the AR. They say sorry. And I used to say sorry. And I didn't realize that that was not normal. Or like I would say drawer or dog and
Dog. Okay.
dog. I would say dog. I did just thought that's how you said it because my parents said things, with an accent.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because sorry, that's straight out of Trailer Park Boys, which I think was in its prime when you were in high school.
I do remember that show. I don't think I ever really watched it, but yeah, I said things weird and people thought I was like from somewhere else and
Oh,
oh.
okay. Well, that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, okay, so basically, you used to. took bits and pieces of your parents' accent because that's what you grew up hearing, and they thought you were from New York as you ate your
Yeah.
bagel with the salmon and the capers and all that stuff.
No, I didn't. I didn't eat. I actually at the time I didn't eat like fish or anything. I was so picky, and now I eat. I eat like sushi and everything, and I try new foods. But yeah, for most of my life, I did not.
Now, people listening to my think it's kind of weird. You and I both live in fairly close conjunction to Mexico,
Hmm.
and if you know where to go, chips and salsa can be a meal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you go for the green salsa or the red?
I do both.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, green. Like sometimes they make it. I think it's because when they see a white person or like they don't want the spicy stuff, bland green sauce is no good. But like
Oh
if you
no.
find someone that's willing to just light you on fire, it's like some of the best stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had some good tacos yesterday.
Oh yeah. So like
uh,
okay, so what do you go for like your protein in the taco?
So usually I will do steak if there's like not another option, steak or chicken, but I always avoid pork. Always avoid pork.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, also, I know your parents weren't Muslims, but since they were from a Muslim country, I'm guessing pork wasn't really a thing they grew up on, if that makes sense.
It wasn't something we ate a lot growing up, but my mom would make like hams and stuff for like
Oh,
Thanksgiving and
okay.
things like that. Yeah. Yeah, my family still eats pork and but mostly beef and chicken.
Oh, okay. I usually
And
go for barbacoa. Just don't think too
oh,
hard about what it is, but it is delicious.
lamb too. I never ate lamb. That was another thing where I was like, nope, I love lambs. I will not eat lamb or goat or none of that. But
Good.
yeah.
Well, then don't try goat because it's like roast beef, but so much better. But then again, don't try it because you will get hooked on it.
I won't. I won't.
And I tried lamb once and I didn't know what I was doing because like I'm a dumbass white guy from Texas. I cooked it like a steak, and that is not how you do it, apparently.
Oh, I wouldn't know. They just like they stuff the lamb intestines with stuff and I'm like, yeah, that's nasty. I don't think I that's the digestive tract. I don't no.
And I hear with stuff like that, like if I mean, I'm not saying your family did this, but like you need to know that the person preparing it knows how to properly clean that because apparently
Oh
it's not
yeah.
properly cleaned when you buy it. Not
They
entirely.
I hope they know. I'm sure they do. It's yeah. Yeah.
What will happen quicker, the sheep intestine sausage stream or the carnivorous cutie back tattoo? With like your DBD main like underneath it, like it could be like a whole set piece, like straight across the back.
So I actually had an announcement to make that I'm leaving Twitch and YouTube today. Yeah.
Wait, Twitch and YouTube?
Yeah, both. In fact, I'm deleting all of my socials. Yeah. If you see someone pop up that looks like me, it's definitely not me, you know. But yeah.
For those who are unaware, like what led to that decision?
Well, I don't want to get a tattoo of carnivorous cutie
I was
or
joking.
yeah.
Wait, so is you leaving a joke?
That was a joke.
Oh fuck. Okay.
I sound very serious sometimes. I feel bad now. This
I
is
was
not the
like,
first time someone's like, "You're serious?" And I'm like, "No, I'm joking." I do that to patients a lot, actually. I do that with my patients when they're rude or something.
oh, is that a cavity? Is that what it is?
I no, let me find an example. Of course, it's gonna evade me, but whenever someone's rude, I'll just talk to them very serious face sarcastically, and they'll be like taken aback, and then I'll laugh because I know that they think I'm serious, and it kind of like throws them off. So then they kind of like shut up about what they're giving me a hard time about,
See,
and
I'm not going to bring up the tattoo again, or sheep intestines for that matter.
oh gosh.
Wow, I you had me like hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh shit! Like I just congratulate her on 5,000. She's like, I'm about to eat that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh man, no, no.
so one thing that's like being debated on a lot as far as like Twitch versus YouTube goes. Like, do you see YouTube as like a means of getting people to Twitch, or are you trying to like grow both independently? Like, what's your goals as far as that goes?
Um, Actually, YouTube was always like my primary goal, but it felt a lot harder to break into than Twitch. I feel like there's just more surface area on Twitch to like kind of make a name for yourself. And so I started uploading things a long time ago to YouTube, but like, you wouldn't get many clicks because who's Lulu likes, My thing is I am a very extroverted, antisocial person. And while I've been complimented a lot on, my responsiveness in chat for Twitch and everything, and I'm good at that, but it does get tiring sometimes. And so YouTube has more of that appeal to me where I can put out content where I don't have to have the social aspect of it.
That is one thing I love about YouTube because
Hmm.
like if I don't feel like streaming, I can still do something. I did that this morning. I was going to stream Little Nightmares this morning. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do a 10-minute itch game instead. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And also, it's a little different now because YouTube has shorts, but at least for me personally, I do find discoverability is better on YouTube. But one thing I miss about Twitch is the sense of community.
Hmm.
Like YouTube will put your video in front of people better, I believe, but since the algorithm is sending it to people that like the game, they're there for the game and not for you in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things about Twitch. Like for me, it's like when you play these random horror games that no one's heard of, how do people find you? And I feel like I used Dead by Daylight as like a stepping stone because tons of people love Dead by Daylight. And I'm like, well, if they like Dead by Daylight, on the off chance that I do like a indie horror stream, maybe these people will stick around. And it was hard to build that, but I've been told by my community a lot that they do not care what I play and that they're just there for me. And that feels really good because I'm like, great, but you also like the horror games too, right? And I think they do.
I have
I,
friends that follow me over from Twitch and are like, I would watch your stuff, but I'm terrified of what you play. And I'm like, I understand. It's not for everyone.
mhm,
But
mhm. No,
yeah,
I,
I'll go
yo,
ahead.
go ahead. Oh,
Oh, I was going to
no,
say I miss the community, but oh, my bad.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're like
No,
two
I
cars
was
at the intersection. Like, no, no,
you're
no,
like,
no, it's
no, you
fine.
go, no, you go.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, one of my biggest things about streaming, I've always loved these like weird indie horror games, and I feel like they've been so underrated for so many years. And my biggest thing has been wanting to share that with other people and show other people how cool these games are, like even the small ones. And that's been one of my big endeavors is like if I can convert another Twitch viewer to being into like indie horror games, then that's a win for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I love those games because like I'm so disillusioned with AAA. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
there's battle passes, which I'm okay with that for free games. But if you're wanting me to pay money and do a battle pass, I'm not even going to bother. Especially if it's a single player game. That's a new trend, which I can't stand. You
Yeah,
know,
I, I,
but
I'm a little too angy for competitive games nowadays. I don't think I could ever stream again.
and I hear DBD is so toxic. Is that true?
Oh, well, I have a different stance on DBD. I've played Dead by Daylight since it came out, and um, I wouldn't say I'm like pro or anything, but I when I play regularly, I am pretty good, and I do meme builds, so I don't really get tilted ever,
A
because I
meme
like.
build.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
So, like, my favorite meme build would be like a Sabo build where you break down the hooks so that the killer can't hook survivors.
Oh,
And it's kind of a meme because they've really nerfed sabotaging hooks over the years. And it's pretty hard to pull off nowadays to get it right. Um, and so yeah, it's like I play it more for like the joy of being able to pull off those hard plays. And I don't usually I will sacrifice myself to save someone else. I don't care if I escape or not. So for me, I don't really get tilted, but when I would play with friends who were very into Dead by Daylight, I've seen people get very tilted at the game, and I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun. Oh
Okay, and since we're talking about stuff you played early on, I want to bring up the Forbidden Name one more time.
God.
How did
Yes.
Carnivorous Cutie approach streaming versus Lulu? Like, basically, how did experience change your approach? And also, if you can go into what led to you coming back.
Well, I always wanted to stream on Twitch, but life just didn't allow me to. Um, I think like as any new streamer comes into Twitch, it's all very, very exciting, right? Like anytime you have someone come into your chat, you're just like thrilled to have that person. And I think that's kind of how I started out. Like it was always so exciting whenever someone followed you or if like someone subbed to you or if someone came back to a second stream, you're like, oh my God, they came back. They like me.
Yeah,
And I think the difference now is I don't feel like I cater to anyone really. Like if you like me, then that's amazing. But I don't really go out of my way to like try to hold on to anyone because I'm like if someone's there, they're there because they like me. I'm not trying to convince anyone to stay here.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think that's
okay.
the difference now. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get to our last question. Have you
Mhm.
ever seen a show called Inside the Actor Studio?
Inside the actor studio.
Yeah, Inside the Actor Studio.
No.
Okay, it was a show basically where these famous actors would come in. It's a place called the Actor Studio. It was like a super juiced up version of like theater, but it was for film students. Bradley Cooper
Hmm.
was an alum from there. Well,
Hmm.
one question James Lipton, the host, would always ask one of his guests at the end of each episode is a question I'm about to ask you right now. Lulu, what is your favorite swear word and why?
My favorite swear word.
Yeah.
I mean, this is horrible because the first thing that comes to my mind is baloney. Um, I mean,
Sorry. From an anti meat person, too, no less.
yeah, and that's why I mean,
That's why it's profane to you.
yeah.
I was not expecting bologna.
I mean, oftentimes when I'm really angry, the first thing that I yell is baloney. That's baloney.
So it's bologna and bitch tits, apparently. So like, anger is
Yes.
bologna and fear is bitch tits.
Yes.
Also, total side note, can we get an origin on why bitch tits is your go-to when you're scared?
I'm unsure. It just it like rolls off the tongue. I don't know. It just, it flows freely.
Oh hell, okay.
Mhm.
So and bologna, I guess that started in childhood. Like you heard it on a TV show and you're like, oh bologna? Like, is that it?
I would have to do a lot of reflection to decipher when and where that began. I don't know. I
Sorry, I'm just laughing because I was expecting like every. Also, it's like I've asked two other people this question. You're the first one that has not mentioned the C word.
Oh, really?
Well, one of them is from Ireland. It's a different attitude over
Oh,
there,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and the other one it was like number four for him, but his wife told him he's not allowed to say it anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a word you should bring up. So yeah, so when you were like so hesitant, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be that one again, and then you're like baloney, and it just threw me off. I don't know what to say. Okay, so oh baloney. Okay, I was gonna bring up like a baloney back piece, but we've made enough tattoo jokes for one day. You convinced me
Yeah.
you're gonna leave social media. I got me feeling all sad because I was like, I just got to meet this person.
No.
All right. Well, before we go, tell us where we can find you across socials, creation platforms, etc.
Well, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Lulu likes. My YouTube is the same. Twitter is the same with an underscore at the end. So Lulu likes underscore because someone took that. My TikTok is Lulu likes underscore. And my Instagram is and the forest began to sing. Doesn't matter if you follow me there or not, but I post cool pictures sometimes of plants and
There are a lot of
animals
cool
and
nature photos.
yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Well,
that's it. Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Lulu. It's very much appreciated. For those wondering, no, she is not leaving Twitch. And I want to thank you all so much for giving us a listen, and y'all have a good day. And thank you so much, Lulu.
Thanks for chatting.